Crosby from the corner, twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move, trying to get the shot on. He holds, he shoots, he scores! Absolutely!
The pitch, high fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studios right in Bethel Park at our municipal building if you need the location. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park and the greater Pittsburgh area. Thank you for the Facebook likes, 6921 likes. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Smoking Jim Frazier made it 10 seconds early. Chip Hayner and Nick Callis. These are my co-hosts. We got a lot of sports for you. And one thing I got to do a little apology for Smoking Jim to Bonnie. Bonnie texted a message on our Facebook page 2 weeks ago. Smoking Jim forgets because of CTE. That he put up who's the only Heisman Trophy quarterback that a Pittsburgh team had. She said Mike Rozier with the Maulers. So she expects a prize from Smoking Jim. So I told her to hold her breath. So
In
Bonnie,
first place, he wasn't a quarterback.
Well, we put the
No, I know.
last Heisman Trophy.
yeah, Heisman Trophy. I misspoke on that, but I was being a little dramatic for Smoking Jim, hoping he would correct me. But thanks, Chipper. And in other words,
I got it right.
Yeah, he owes a prize to Bonnie.
Okay, I got it covered.
So now you know that, and we can go on with the show. And thanks for all of you for watching. We appreciate that. All right, we'll do some promos. We got A1 on the camera. Look at this. Bang.
All right.
Look at how centered it is. We'll see how it goes through the rest of the show. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with an XL pepperoni pizza, steak hoagie, cut into 6 slices, and we appreciate them. They're at Hillcrest Shopping Center, and they have great Italian food, desserts, you name it, they got it. Give them a call at 412-831-1900, and tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, said, ask what their deals are. They always have deals, so. And thanks to Frank Fanera, his brother Mike made our pizza and hoagie tonight, so thank you. Rico, the Puerto Rican that normally makes our pizza, just started at 6, so he didn't make it. All right, another promo, A1, bada bing. Oh, there it is. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. We honor poor Joey, died of a brain cancer, a very dreaded brain cancer, kills you within a year, DIPG. Before DIPG, after DIPG, he died at 8 years old 7 years ago. So they have the family come up with the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. You can donate money, time. I always tell you each week their biggest event is in September, second or third week of September. The Joey Fabus a superhero 5K 1 mile run. I filmed it for the last so many years, and even last year we did it. That's their biggest fundraising event. People dress up as superheroes, which Joey loved, and they donate money to try to find a cure. Dr. Gary at Children's Hospital said they're getting close to getting something that can treat the DIPG and a possible cure. So we'll stay tuned. That's at Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh here. So good things are coming there. Next up, here we go. A1 to the rescue. There it is.
Bang!
The Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Everybody knows the trolley right there, red and white trolley, old-time trolley there, not a T. It's right there. They have a 1905 schoolhouse, original high school in Bethel Park, been refurbished from top to bottom. I won't bore you with all the details like I normally do, but windows, roof, you name it. They even paved the driveway because they have paving stones. I'm going to buy one for $100 to sponsor the Historical Society with Alan Levine, the talking machine on it. So I have a brick on their driveway when they do their events there. So check it out. My favorite tea place is Reginald's Coffee. Just posted a picture up on Facebook there. I was with David Fabus, the father of Joey Fabus, and we're going to have a tea date there sometime soon. He said make sure it's when they have their pastries and donuts. So we'll see what he wants to eat. He had a heart transplant a year or two before I had my kidney transplant. So 2 transplantees enjoying green tea. But check it out. Their coffee is the best around from friends of mine that drink coffee. I'll try to get Smokin' Jim there one time because anything that's free, it's the best he ever had. All right, another 501c3, A1. Perfect, look at that. Always be smiling. Please like their page, and thank you for all the likes out there. We cracked 1,000 likes before December and their anniversary. The B stands for Bennett. He was 16 and a half years old when he died due to complications, health issues, and he had 2 kidney transplants. His dad, Dean, donated 1 kidney, and his mother, Kristen, and Dean started this in honor of Bennett. And they help other people that have kidney issues and transplants, and they help the people get housing and pay for some of their bills. So anything you can donate towards them, and if you like their page, just go to Always Be Smiling. And thanks for the last few people on Facebook that have liked the page. I appreciate all of you, so thank you very much. All right, this is the last day of Santa for seniors. We just had a little discussion before the show, and move that over to let Nick. Nick designed that with some input. We'll see if we can get that. Can we get it? Look at that, will you? Can't get the finger in on it.
Good job, Nick.
Nick did that. Santa for seniors. We're asking for blankets and sportswear from the sports teams in Pittsburgh, and we have some stuff in there, and it's a can. You go in the municipal building, glass doors, lower level. On the right's the police. On the left is BPTV. Under the clock, as you walk to the left, is our can that has another sign like this on it, and you can donate different things there. And let me read off on there. It's to try to help seniors at the Reformed Presbyterian Home, 2344 Perrysville Avenue, 15214. So we have some things to do it, so thank all of you. Jessica Lee and I will do this again next year earlier. This was a last minute thing that we put together to try to help out because we just heard about it. So this is the last day for it. You don't have to hurry up and get here. I'll take what's out there tomorrow, and we'll take care of that. But thank you all. And special thanks to Nick.
Achieving greatness.
Please edit that, because that's such a negative thing to say on my show because of everybody associated with it except for Nick. And I've seen the history of it and the people, and I'm not a big fan of that at all. It's a for-profit type of corporation, but that's another story for another day. So Smokin' Jim brought it up. I'm not picking on him. I'm just telling the truth. That's a terrible
That was
thing.
the wrong answer.
Yes. There, let's get to something. Kathleen Miller friended me on Facebook, and we talked numerous times. She got sick last year. She needs a kidney. Her kidney function was at 17. When it gets to 15, like mine was, she'll need a kidney transplant. She thinks due to putting flyers on Pittsburgh Sportsline and other places that somebody is donating a kidney, and we'll find out who the donor is when she gets the kidney. So congratulations to Kathleen, and just stay healthy there, Kathleen, and we'll have to go out for breakfast or something someday. So take care. All right, we'll see what A1 does on this. Oh, there it is. There's that little delay. I appreciate it. I want you for BPTV. You can be like Nick. You can be like A1 on camera, A2 on camera. Ryan, I have to give a compliment to him. I hear him talk now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and he's running the control room by himself. Yeah. Nobody is supervising him.
It's amazing. Ryan's a great guy.
Unbelievable. Anthony gave him some tips. Nick tried to help him a little bit.
Smoke, did you know Ryan knows how to edit? And did you notice our new graphics as well? All thanks to Ryan's know-how.
No, he missed that because he missed the editing class at PCTV. And I asked him if he could edit since he's on air. We'll let him try to be honest for the first time. He told me he couldn't edit. He passed the class and he couldn't edit. And he's my best friend, so I'm ratting him out.
If in doubt, look about.
I did, and I see nothing. Guess what I see there? A lack of information and talent. It's gone. Look at what Nick's done. Look at what A1's done. Look what Ryan's doing. And then he's bragging about his lack of skills.
Put me in, Coach.
You're in. You can leave the show right now and show Ryan what to do. The challenge is up there. Smoking Jim, we don't want to hear another word. Now, this is the fun you can have on BPTV. Give a call, 412-831-3304, and tell Dave Cable you heard an exciting promo from Al Levine, the talking machine. He was ridiculing Smoking Jim for passing a PCTV editing class, and guess what he's edited? Nothing.
Are we just going to re-nickname him No Talent Jim Frazier, then?
No skill. No skill. No skill will. All right.
They're killing you.
Another 501c3. Don't listen to No Skill Will there. Bethel Park Community Foundation, I'm a trustee. They've been around for over 25 years. Go to bpcf.org. Get an application. We have money for you from $100 to $5,000 that we can vote on giving it to you in our monthly, or every 2 months we have a meeting. Get an application, appear, and ask why you want money. And like I told all of you, if you don't bet, don't start. If you do bet, don't listen to Smoking Jim or do the opposite. All right, so now you know, but check out bpcf.org. All right, we got our segment, What's on Your Mind? Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
it's coming at you.
You got to see Levine. Back in my baseball days, they used to call me Chicken on a Hill with Will when I cranked one out of the park.
Let me clarify again. This disclaimer's like been going on for years. Smoking Jim 10 years ago when we met didn't know baseball. It was a month before the show. After being on the show, he knows very little about baseball and doesn't even realize, what he's even saying. I actually had friends of mine, the Hill brothers, that went to Will's place when he hit a home run, and they brought chicken back, Chicken on the Hill with Will at the Pittsburgh Press in the 70s.
After sitting next to me for 11 years, he knows a little bit about baseball.
I did say a little.
Congratulations.
He knows a
I wore
little.
number 8. But
Well, here's the disclaimer. If Greg Kirby, my catcher from Little League's watching, I still know who he is. We asked Smoking Jim who his catcher was. He said all white guys look the same. We asked him who his coach is, and he made up a story. So I don't know what he did. I'm not even sure if he's right-handed or left-handed. But we'll let him.
And neither
carry
is he.
on. Whoa, Chip.
But hey, I'm having a hard time finding anybody black in the Winter Olympics. Are you? Can you point?
Somebody
them
just won a gold medal in
Let me
out? One black.
let me interrupt you again. I have not watched 1 second of the
Thank you.
communistic Chinese Olympics. And I give all the Americans and other athletes that are trying to compete there all the credit in the world and the 4 years they put in to try to do it. And I don't care what color you are. And a disclaimer on Smoking Jim's racist opinions or his own.
But
I've been watching the American hockey, men's and women's, but that's about it.
is that in the Olympics this year?
Yes, it is.
See the lack of information he has?
Well, they put so much stuff out. But listen, speaking of blacks,
Who was speaking of blacks?
I got a bone to pick with the 2022 NFL Hall of Fame class. I don't know about you, but I never looked at Leroy Butler as a Hall of Famer. The greatest offensive tackle ever seen in college and in pros before he got hurt was Tony Baselli, very deserving to go in. I never looked at Richard Seymour as being a Hall of Famer. Cliff Branch, in my opinion, should have been in. I don't evaluate officials, but Art McNally, I guess he's in. Dick Vermeil, I'm very happy for Dick Vermeil to get in. And I never looked at Brian Young, even though he was a talented player, as a Hall of Famer. But a guy that I'm glad to get in, and thank goodness for the USFL, because if not, he'd have been working at the post office, was Sam Mills. Sam Mills couldn't get his trial in the NFL. The USFL, the Philadelphia Stars started up. Jim Moore was the head coach. Put Sam Mills in the middle. And by the time his USFL career was over, every NFL team wanted the 5'8" guy. There's a statue of him, of the late, great Sam Mills, out in front of the Carolina Panthers Stadium. And finally, good friend of the show, Angel Shafino, her daughter's father is Sam Mills' son. And Sam Mills' son has been living off his dad's name all his life. He's the assistant defensive line coach for Carolina. He can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag, but I don't blame him. Hey, your dad got a statue outside the stadium. Milk that money. But that's what's on my mind. Al Levine, the talking machine. I think more kids ought to go into their dad's business, don't you? These restaurants fail because the kids won't take it up.
Smoking Jim, you missed the point. There's a history of the third generation of kids cause a business to fail.
I never
You
knew
missed that.
I missed that book.
Hence the Steelers industry.
And that's what's on my mind.
We're done with smoking. Chip Hayner, after that, I need something good. What's on your mind?
Well, Jim took a little bit of my thunder away. However, I have a tendency to disagree with him, which I do at this point. I do believe that Cliff Branch belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
And I think the NFL Hall of Fame tarnished itself this past weekend, and it should be called, well, we could watch the induction in August. We could watch 8 men get their participation gold jackets instead of, because I don't believe that the people that got elected into the Hall of Fame were Hall of Fame worthy. And just because you can't elect 5 players into the Hall of Fame does not mean that you have to elect 5 people into the Hall of Fame. People complain about the Baseball Hall of Fame, but they have a different set of standards by which they judge people that are eligible, okay, in a different voting system. But baseball is brave enough to not elect anybody if they don't feel that any candidate is worthy. And I wish football would do the same, and I think just putting 5 people in for the sake of putting 5 people in
Right.
detracts from being in the Hall of Fame. And
Chip,
again,
I agree
this
with
is
you.
this is just my humble opinion.
And don't look at the guy next to you, but he said he gets the vote once in a while.
Well, no, Cliff Branch, the way I look at it is Cliff Branch was to the Raiders of the late 60s and 70s every bit as much as what John Stallworth and Lynn Swann were to the Pittsburgh
I agree.
Steelers.
Yeah.
And even though their statistics are nowhere close to the statistics of players that played after the year 2000 or in the 90s, you know, if Swan and Stallworth belong in, Cliff Branch does as well. Okay? So, you know, Dick Vermeil took 2 different teams to the Super Bowl,
Yes.
won it with one. You know, a stellar coaching career.
And a workaholic.
And a worthy candidate there, and a
Yeah.
worthy candidate. And if you're going to start putting referees in the Hall of Fame, I guess we're going to have to start putting trainers in next. But that's my first point. My second point, and this is again just my humble opinion, and I'm sure people will disagree with me. But congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams, and most importantly to Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald should have been the Super Bowl MVP. In my humble opinion, hands down, I don't think the Rams win that game without the way he played. And if you guys remembered 3 weeks ago, I said that the difference in this Super Bowl is going to come down to the play of the defensive line. And that is exactly what happened after Los Angeles gave up a quick 10 points at the start of the third quarter. Their defensive line took over. They sacked Joe Burrow 7 times. They sacked him to close out the game. So, job well done for the Los Angeles Rams. And, well, might be another 33 years before the Bengals make it back to the big game. You know, and I heard Bengals fans were complaining about the ticket prices to the Super Bowl. Well, they had 33 years to save up money to be able to pay to get there. But that you know,
That
be,
makes sense.
be that as it may. And my last, but certainly not least, I am so sick of hearing that the Steelers have to get a franchise quarterback.
But they
The
do.
most important thing that the Steelers need is a
franchise
franchise quarterback.
Yes.
I have never heard a bigger bunch of horse crap in my life.
Kenny Pickett.
No.
Draft Pickett. Draft Pickett. Draft Pickett.
In the first place, there is not a franchise quarterback in the NFL draft.
Kenny
this
Pickett.
year. In the first place, there is no franchise quarterback in the NFL draft this year. And if you look at all the retreads that are going to be available on free agency, if they were franchise quarterbacks, they wouldn't be available in free agency. Carson Wentz is a bum. Okay, you're never going to win with him. Jimmy Garoppolo, never going to get it done for you. Aaron Rodgers, well, he threw as many touchdown passes in the Super Bowl since 2010 as Joe Mixon did Sunday night.
Great point, Chip. You're
But-
on fire, Chip.
I do believe that the Steelers' needs are many. They need to rebuild their offensive line. They need help on their defensive line. They need help at inside linebacker, outside linebacker.
Yeah.
If I were the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would not draft a quarterback. There's plenty of proven cases where you don't need a franchise quarterback to win Super Bowls. Let me give you a few. Trent Dilfer,
Yeah.
he won a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson,
Wow.
who won a Super Bowl. Who else? Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he won a Super Bowl. I mean, you don't need to be, a franchise quarterback, and you don't need to mortgage your future in the hopes of getting somebody that you think might be your franchise quarterback. All you need, build a strong offensive line, solid running game, a take charge defense, and you need a game manager. And right now, what the Steelers have on their roster is good enough to win, provided that you fix the other things that are broken with the team. That's what's on my
How
mind.
did Bradshaw and Big Ben do? Super Bowl, just saying.
I heard the Steelers could have drafted Dan Marino as well.
No, they were never going to.
What a shame.
No, it wasn't. If you know why they didn't draft him?
No, they knew.
No, do you know why they didn't draft him? Because they knew what he was doing every night running around Oakland.
Is Kenny Pickett running around Oakland? I don't think so. He seems like a nice man.
I'm not going to say it on here. I'll share it with you off the air, Nick. You won't think it's very funny.
No, it's sad. It's sad, but it changed. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it. Nick Callis, what's on your mind, except for Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, no. Okay. So, first of all, the municipality has a TikTok page now. Please go follow it. BPTV _ Bethel Park. And the reason why I bring that up, not only is to shamelessly plug my employer, Dave Cable, but also because
Is he really the director?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really the guy. But A1 decided to bring in an old Rams jersey and taunt me because if you remember last week, I was the only one that picked the Bengals, and
None of us rubbed it in.
I
on you.
really appreciate that because it's a quality game. Yeah, there it is. It's old enough. But no, yeah. So he taunted me when I came in today. Dave Cable texted me after Sunday, like right when Joe Burrow completed that pass, and he said, "You'll lose," and I felt terrible. I really did. And I wanted to touch on this because Chip briefly did, but I don't think that the Bengals have enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. And I know ESPN people, and I know Chris Collinsworth was saying it in the NBC broadcast, this won't be the last time we see Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. Well, think about all it takes to get to the Super Bowl and think about how weak the Bengals actually were this season.
Let me interrupt you. What was their record?
10-7.
What was our record?
9-6-1.
9-7.
9-7-1.
Half a game back.
Yeah. So
Just saying. Folks.
So they're not strong enough, I don't think. I think that they found little ways to win, but their core can only last this season. Moving on into future years, especially with teams starting to, adapt to whatever game plans they have, I don't think that Super Bowl is where they're going to be frequently. I think playoffs, maybe. Super Bowl, no. And I was devastated for the Bengals and Joe Burrow in a way because I realized that this was probably their only chance within the next 5 to 10 years that they will make it to a Super Bowl, and they could have had a chance to win, and they didn't. I really didn't, was numb to whoever won the game. I just predicted that the Bengals were going to win. Still happy for some of the players on the Rams, though, especially Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford. So, again, no strong feelings toward either team. I just predicted that the Bengals would win because I thought they'd find a way to pull it out. And as I've been painfully reminded these last couple days, I was wrong.
Nick, I want to give you a little history lesson here. In 1984, was that 1985?
84.
Dan Marino's second year in the league. He set a record for most touchdown passes ever thrown in NFL history up to that point. Went to the Super Bowl, played against Joe Montana, and the announcers talked about how Joe Montana and Dan Marino were going to meet every year from that point moving forward in the Super Bowl because Dan Marino was the next great thing. Never made it back to the game in the rest of his entire career.
Do you guys think that Joe Burrow can hold up being sacked 70 times a year? That offensive line is pretty
Yeah, he got sacked. He was the most sacked quarterback in the league. He got sacked 9 times by, who was it, Tennessee? He got sacked 7 times by Los Angeles. He was sacked over 20 times. So, yes, he was sacked over 70 times.
51 in the regular
That does
season.
not lead to longevity.
And I got a bone to pick with the NFL. Listen,
Really?
if you're a side piece, quit showing this Joe Burrow side. If he's married to her, show the wife. But don't keep showing the side piece. She getting ready to cry when he got hurt.
Well, his parents, Smoking Jim, you missed the drama there.
They can
His
blow her
dad
out.
was on one side of her, and his mom was on the other
Blow her
side.
out her face or something, man.
You're
Show
mean.
a side piece.
You're so mean, especially. You're so mean,
if
especially
you're
with the
not a
sweeties.
fiance, if you're not a fiance or a wife, you don't.
If
deserve
you're not a
to be shown.
fiance or Beyonce, don't show it.
All right.
Did you like the hip hop at halftime?
I missed it. I was eating my wings and pizza and hoagie.
Did you know any of those people, Smoking Jim?
No, I didn't know.
Oh,
that.
my goodness.
I knew Snoop Dogg. He's a
So that's
stereotype.
somebody. So
All right, let's move on. What happened? That's it for your segment?
Yeah, that's
All right, because we're getting a little carried away. Smoking Jim, my new one of my resolutions is to try to cut half of his nonsense out, and I'm not succeeding at it.
Yikes.
Let me emphasize it. I'm not succeeding. What's on my mind? Watch a very interesting Super Bowl. I want to just say the NFL's doing it right, whether it's scripted, fixed, or whatever. They made every game within like a field goal and very dramatic at the end. The referees, I use my dad's quote. He goes, being a referee, if you notice me in a game, then there's something wrong. Well, at times in basketball, the referees swallow the whistle. in times in the NHL, they swallow the whistle during all of the playoffs, except for a call or two. In the NFL, they swallowed the whistle till the last couple minutes of the game. And there are rules in there. And when you do violate it, they call a penalty. I don't know how a referee missed a guy grab a face mask on Higgins, grabbed the Ramsey's face mask, and they missed that when they showed the replay a dozen times. And then Chip gave me the quote that the referee said he just swiped his face mask and it didn't deserve a penalty. Well, how do they give penalties on face masks when a quarterback, they touch it with a pinky and the quarterback gets a penalty? So to me, the NFL is not consistent with the Hall of Fame. The participation trophies are outrageous. I even question how Eli Manning got into the Hall of Fame with his record as a passer and made it to the Hall of Fame, although he did get 2 Super Bowls. So I understand that. But I'd rather a quarterback like ours have 4 Super Bowls, the first ever to do it in 10 years, like Terry Bradshaw did. It was only 10 years. And he's one of the greatest ever for doing that. And that was back in the 70s before some of you were born. And we appreciate you watching, even if you're younger. For you older ones like me, you know what I'm talking about. But that's where the game has changed, the calls have changed, and you shouldn't see games come down to a referee's call. That's all I'll say. And I differ with Chip, some of the other defensive players at 94 and a couple others on Aaron Donald's defense. He had them so fired up. 94 was in the game. The announcers were saying, I forget his name, but if he's in, don't run. He stopped every running play. So I give the MVP to Cup. I believe he deserved it because I just say, like Chip said, take Donald out, they lose. Take Cup out, they don't score. So that's a double-edged sword. And we agree to disagree on that. It's our opinions like we talk about. And we're going to come back in about 5 or 6 seconds. We have separate special graphics, fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac. Let's see what Ryan does. That was quick, Smokin'. Are you ready?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, I'm going to get right to it. Al Levine, the talking machine.
No, take your time. Take your time. We all wait for that.
Everybody knows that I love me some Aaron Donald. One of the hardest working guys you ever want to see. But Al Levine, the talking machine, he went to a school that used
Penn
to
Hills.
Just west of Monroeville.
That used to produce 1,500 graduates every year. And him and Tom Flynn are the only Super Bowl winners. And that's a little disgraceful for a football program like that.
How many from Gateway?
Factory like that. But here we go.
Good
here
question.
we go.
Gator Nation.
Since I've been hearing all week long that Aaron Donald is better than Mean Joe Green, even free lunch Ab Bouchette said it. You know, so Al Levine, the talking machine, I'm going to put my top 10 defensive tackles. They said Aaron Donald is the greatest defensive lineman. I'm going to give you my top 10 defensive tackles only, which will include Aaron Donald.
All 25 of them?
And here we go.
Nick, start counting again.
Counting's ready. Here we go.
Thank you.
10C, Warren Sapp. 10B, John Randall. Number 10, the great Aaron Donald, Super Bowl MVP. Maybe. Jerome Brown at number 9. Al Levine, the talking machine. Roger Brown at 8C.
Oh, good.
From the Fearsome Foursome.
So far,
How
3
about-
extra.
How about Alex Karras and Ray Childress to round out number 8? How about 7B, Ernie Stottner? How about 7A, Randy White? Very underrated, great player. How about number 6? I used to call him King Kong, Julius Peppers. How about number 5B, Merlin Olsen? How about number 5A? Probably the only one that knows this one is Chipper. Curly Culp.
No,
How
I
about-
know him.
How about number 4? Maybe Al Levine, the Talking Machine, has heard of this one. Buck Buchanan at number
Yes.
4.
From the Chiefs that won the Super Bowl IV.
That's
Yes.
it. How about number
Well,
3?
in here.
Another underrated guy who could have really been number 1, but I got him at number 3 on my list. Bob Lilly. How about the
I
greatest?
remember him.
How about the greatest defensive tackle I ever seen in my life? But I had to rate him down a little bit because all he wanted to do was be white. He ended up being a judge. Al Levine talks white, drinks wine like a white guy. Alan Page, one of the honorable
Let
Alan
me
Page.
disclaimer. That's so disrespectful.
Don't you hate
Smoking
black
Jim.
guys that act white? That's why I don't like Joe Burrow. He acts black.
Smoking Jim.
Just be yourself.
You're so disrespectful. You don't even know it.
You like all them diamond chains that Joe Burrow wears?
Yes.
All right, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. How about number 2? Reggie White, the minister of the defense and the greatest defensive tackle ever seen in my life. He was so fast that the referees used to think half the time he was offsides, but he was just that quick. Mean Joe Green, the second greatest Steeler of all time behind T.J. Watt.
Some honorable mentions. He forgot Lamar Lundy,
Ooh,
Rosie
Yeah.
Greer,
Oh.
Gary Larson.
ooh.
You know, then
Only
for the
ca-
Purple
only-
People Eaters, the Fearsome Foursome.
How many extra
I
did
was
he
only
have?
doing defensive
7?
tackles, but yeah.
Smoking Jim.
17's your total.
You had 7. If you had Chip's 3, we could make it official on Pittsburgh Sports
Oh,
Line since
okay.
I'm in charge. It will be the Smoking Jim's top 20 greatest defensive linemen in his opinion, with an assist by Chip.
Maybe Ernie
You
Holmes
heard
shoot
it.
that
And
police
then
helicopter.
Tony, otherwise known as Anthony from Chick-fil-A, said, "Don't ask Smoking Jim. He's not allowed to answer this question. Top 3 Pirate catchers of all time." He doesn't even have a clue. And he doesn't even know Spanky. So I'll leave it at that. All right. Thank you, Smoking Jim.
Welcome back, everybody, and just in honor of Black History Month, a little
Carry
bit
on.
more about today about the history of the Negro Leagues. And I'm not going to get real in depth with this because I could take up the final 20 minutes of the show, and that wouldn't be fair to Alan or young Nick over to my
Thank
right.
you, Chip. We
We
appreciate
want to make
that.
sure that they get their segments in. So I'm going to condense this, okay? Negro League Baseball got its starts thanks to the increasing popularity of 2 things after the Civil War: baseball and segregation. National Association of Amateur Baseball Players rejected African American membership in 1867, and in 1876, owners of the Professional National League adopted a gentleman's agreement to keep black players out. Subsequent African American players found their greatest opportunities with traveling teams until 1920, when Rube Foster launched the Negro League. So fast forward through all of the different things that happened in the late 1800s. None
Yep.
of us were alive to remember them, but they are part of the history of baseball and should never be forgotten because
Great points, Chip.
you always got to keep an eye on from where you came. But Rube Foster, he founds the Negro National League. A turning point for black baseball came in 1920. Rube Foster founded the Negro National League. It launched with 8 teams: the Chicago American Giants, the Chicago Giants, the Cuban Stars, the Dayton Marcos, the Detroit Stars, the Kansas City Monarchs, the Indianapolis ABCs, and the St. Louis Giants. An enterprise of black ownership and its early financial success prompted the formation of an Eastern Colored League in 1923. And the 2 circuits converged to play the World's Colored Championship in 1924 and continued the annual series until 1927. Stability proved fleeting for the Negro Leagues. A vital leader was lost when Foster was institutionalized in 1926.
What that mean?
It speaks for itself, Jim. Okay, in 1933, the Pittsburgh Crawfords owner and numbers kingpin Gus Greenlee restarted the Negro National League. That year, he introduced the East-West All-Star Game in Chicago, which became the sport's biggest annual event, attracting more than 50,000 fans
Wow.
at its peak. The Negro Leagues enjoyed a resurgence of success thanks to the backing of owners who became rich through gambling and other illegal operations, as well as a dazzling performance of top players, some like Josh Gibson, earned renown for hitting tremendous home runs. But black baseball primarily became known for showcasing a style of speed and daring play and showmanship. Its most famous player was the great Satchel Paige. Might guarantee to strike out the first 6 batters he faced or order his outfielders to the dugout in the middle of an inning. Still, its stars knew to buckle down during exhibitions against the All-Star White Games. And, and the Negro Leagues were strong through the 30s. 2 teams that were centered here in Pittsburgh traded off championships, the Pittsburgh Crawfords and the Homestead Grays. And the interesting thing was a lot of the players played for both teams.
Sure.
This continued on.
They didn't have a reserve clause there, Chip.
In 1937, the Negro American League was formed from teams in the Midwest South to counter the Negro National League. The sport's health, seemingly stronger than ever, an estimated 3 million fans turned out to watch them play. And in 1942, with its World Series revived that summer. By that point, the push to integrate baseball had begun, and subsequently, on April 15th, 1947, Jackie Robinson joined the Brooklyn Dodgers, and the first black man to play in the American League was Larry Doby, who played for the Cleveland Indians.
Who changed their name? They've changed their name, the Indians.
Well, at that time they were the Cleveland Indians. I guess they're the Guardians now. But the unfortunate thing about some of the stars of the Negro Leagues, which I mentioned, the top 10 of them last week, and we'll get some more into some of the players of the Negro Leagues, was that by the time they made it to the major leagues, they were well past their prime.
Oh yeah.
So really, the American baseball audience really didn't get to see these players in their prime. And a lot of the greatest players that ever played the game came from the Negro Leagues. You had Monty Irvin, you had Willie Mays, you had Hammer and Hank Aaron, you had Satchel Paige, and the list goes on. And and it is a part of baseball history. And Jim, there's
and
you
Chip,
can study
one thing I want to add to it, because when you talk about degenerate gamblers like Smoking Jim and others, these guys that were gamblers, that's how they could make money.
I thought he was just an investor.
And they gave the money back to so many people in the community through baseball and other things.
Here's the thing that kills me, is that they bring up the fact that, okay, Gus Greenlee was a known gambler, okay? Why do they have to bring that up? Like, when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know how Art Rooney won the Pittsburgh Steelers? Gambling. Most of the other sports owners
won on a horse
of those
race.
times gambled on the horses, did the same thing, but you never hear them mentioned as being
and one more thing, while
gamblers or illegal.
When you're on the legendary Art Rooney, he was a bookmaker too. And their family were
Last
bookmakers.
I checked, that was an illegal operation.
No, and their families on Northside were bookmakers, and I know plenty of people that gave their nickels and dimes and quarters to the Rooneys.
That's hard to believe.
Smoking Jim, it's a known fact if
But
you go to
my
Northside.
point being,
Yeah.
why they were businessmen, okay? The same way, whatever business they were involved in, that was their business. But that's.
But they gave to the community, built a steel stadium like Gus Greenlee did with his money that he got from gambling, provided entertainment for the communities. And look at the Crawford Grill was legendary with what they did.
Yeah.
So if they gambled, you don't have the same connotation with other gamblers.
But I mean, we don't.
No, that's why I brought it up.
The disparity just makes me shake my head. Why do we? They were businessmen.
Well, that's
Let's
why I
just
had
leave
to
at
bring
that.
it
And I
up.
give away toys at Christmas.
Pardon me?
With my gambling, I give away toys for Christmas.
When you lose money, how can you possibly give?
Wait a minute. Regifting last year's Christmas. Is that called charity?
Right.
I still got my black Barbie doll. I ain't
Is
giving
that
it away.
No, who gave you that?
It's Chip and Stephanie.
And when you give these mortal locks and bets of the year and you lose, how could you possibly have 10 cents to get a toy? So, I mean, I rest my case because this year we're trying to have Smoking Jim be honest, and he's failing. So let's move on.
VIP time! All right. Sports. The MLB lockout's still a thing. I'm very sad about that. That's my opinion. But they're bringing the universal DH around. Should the season continue? I don't want to hear it because I'm not talking
Sidney
about.
Crosby scored his 500th goal.
Yes.
Yeah, go
Breaking
Pens.
news.
Yes.
My opinion on that?
Against the Flyers.
That's wonderful. Sidney Crosby's a great player. What an opinion. All right, what I actually want to talk about. The Super Bowl halftime show. Smoking Jim only knew Snoop Dogg. That's funny to me. I thought it was a great show. Compared to the Weeknd last year, I remember talking about it. The Weeknd tried and he failed. And Eminem and 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige all made it painfully obvious that hip-hop wins tenfold. It was a great Super Bowl halftime show. There were some rumors going around, though, that talking about protests and racism and other deeper meanings into the show. Just enjoy the show. When I talked last week about the owners and the Rooney Rule, it's different when the NFL and you try to make the NFL owners hire somebody that they might not want to. Like, it's hard to police that. But enough with the whole, let's talk about how the NFL was upset because Eminem took a knee or because Dr. Dre talked about, police protesting lyrics in the songs. Like, that's fine. Protest is cool. It's not like they were doing anything violent. They're protesting on a national stage in a sort of way, which is something that I agree with. So for all those rumors, go away. I liked the show for the music and for the entertainment, and I thought it was a good show. So get rid of the rumors, get rid of the controversy, just enjoy the show. And Smoking Jim, learn about the hip-hop people, because those guys are great guys.
It passed him by. He's a country man.
Oh,
He
yeah.
likes country. All right, thanks. Thanks, Nick. On location, USS Fight Academy, 1912 North Lincoln Highway, 6 o'clock, Saturday night. Me and Smoking Jim. I don't know if Nick can make it.
Ooh, let me check.
Nick's going to check, so we'll know. But great night of amateur fights there. Always, the Cunninghams are great.
Nope.
They provided. You can't?
Nope, sorry.
All right. Me and Smoking Jim will do it on our own without you.
I'm sad.
Not a problem. Then March 5th, talk to Jose. Get ready for the fights. March 5th with Ray Schaefer Boxing Club. Always a good time with them. Great facilities, great setup. So we'll have fun there. That's our on location. I'll keep it short and sweet. We're looking for the future on locations, and we'll just go from there. And by the way, with all the controversy with the NFL, I saw Tony Dungy wrote a letter to the NFL, and you can research that a little bit, since he notices that they're not going by the Rooney Rule and making it tough for black people to become coaches. And Tony Dungy's the reason why we have the Rooney Rule, because Dan Rooney saw how hard it was for Tony Dungy to get a job. But that's a little history there for you. Let's go to some Penguin talk. Congratulations to the face of the Pittsburgh Penguins, 500 goals. Just think if he wasn't hurt for, what was it, a year and a half?
Penguins are down 2-1 at the end of the first period.
Okay,
On a power play, Sid scored. Gino got the assist.
nice.
So it was a
Our
nice
stars.
1-2 punch. But here's the interesting thing: Sidney Crosby has now scored 50 goals against the Philadelphia Flyers, which are the most goals that he scored against any team. And when he didn't score a goal on Sunday, I smiled because I was like, he's going to do it against the Flyers on Tuesday night, because he's tortured the Flyers. And you should actually hear the things that the Flyers fans
Oh, it's
yell at
terrible.
him. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious. But
They're consistent.
you know what? You know about Philadelphia sports fans.
Yes.
I've always said this. They eat their young.
Yeah. Well, my sister lives there, and she's told me many a sad story with how even their grandchildren are against anybody wearing Pittsburgh gear in North Wildwood, New Jersey. My little sister Hope, you know how nice she is, wears a Penguin jacket in there sitting at the bar enjoying it with her husband.
Well, you should. When I go to visit my mother-in-law down in Ocean City, New Jersey,
Right.
and we represent hard. And all the bars up there are Eagles bars. And yes, we turn a lot of heads, but we wear our colors proud.
Well,
Be careful.
What's their new mascot, by the way? The Flyers, some crazy thing. I forget the name of it.
Gritty?
That's it. It's terrible.
I know a couple things.
But
a
the
nightmare.
Penguins took over first place on
That's
Sunday.
what I wanted to bring up.
in their
First place
division.
in the Metro.
They're undefeated since the All-Star break. They went into the All-Star break. They'd lost, I believe, 4, maybe 5 in a row.
How about on the road?
And they needed to recharge the batteries. Apparently, they did that.
Yeah.
And today's the first home game, and Sid, the ultimate showman, scoring the 500th goal for the hometown fans. He probably had a little extra motivation to do it tonight in front of the hometown fans, but more importantly against the Flyers.
Oh,
Maybe in
definitely.
a losing effort.
You know what? The last
Mr.
time,
Negative strikes again.
Jim,
Hooray!
here's what the thing
Mr.
is.
Negative.
Jim, they play 3 periods, and each period's 20 minutes long. They've played 1 period, okay? So the game is not over. When they play a full 60 minutes and the clock got zeros, we'll see who the winner
I
is.
talked to some hockey people that told me that Philly was probably going to win tonight. They were due to win.
Well,
Name
you know why?
one person that
Because
you
they've only
talked
won
to.
6 times all year out of their first 50 games.
Yeah, they're having a bad year. Who are you even talking to?
Turn yourself into the corner.
Smoking Jim, this is 2022. You can't keep bringing up what you talked to the last person before you come into our show. Because 98% of the time, I've been, let
Because
me
you
check
know,
my
I'm going to
files.
call you out because I know, I keep up on my stuff.
Yeah, unlike him.
So, Nick, let's have a little back and forth here. How much of a buffoon do you think Rob Manfred is and the way that he's handling the lockout? Because we can't say it's a players' strike because the owners locked the players out.
Right.
Yeah, they had to do something to at least be able to come to some sort of thing where it's like they can still
Well,
have spring
he's
training,
talking
but-
about things that they've agreed on, and none of them are any of the core issues. The one thing, and I wanted to stuff a sock down his throat when he said this, is that the universal DH is going to be in.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I couldn't disagree with that more. I think it's
Think about how lethal the Pirates will be with Yoshi Tsutsugo at DH.
no. This is what they should do. If they're going to do that, if they're going to make it a universal DH, then they should have 10 batters in the lineup.
Boo.
Okay. Yes,
No.
because if you play a position in the field, you should have to take your at.
Then where does the DH come from? He's just magically just in the lineup? That's little league stuff.
But, thank you very much. You made my point.
You got it.
You made
There,
my point.
on another
you
point.
give a guy
You
enough
can't
rope,
just
and he
Hold
hangs
it.
him.
On another point with you two baseball guys, since I know you're into it, I saw something where they're not going to check for steroids in baseball because they want people like Sosa, McGuire, and Bonds to do their thing. Is that true? They're not
Actually,
checking.
You know what? I have.
don't think
No,
they're-
that's a rumor. I don't know.
That's
it
a
came up
rumor,
on
and
a stream
that's
that they're not-
unconfirmed. And I don't know how much validity. Somebody probably put that out there,
No,
floated
but
that.
it was on the scroll with ESPN, and I said I was saying that the last 10 years that the Pirates should have an exemption with testing so they can get steroided up.
Well, here's the thing, Alan. Just because in today's journalistic society, putting anything out there that's going to get likes is way more important than actually doing real work and verifying what you're putting out is anything close
I'll
to the truth.
co-sign that. Amen today. Amen. That's what it is.
Well, think about somebody on Twitter put that the lockout was going to be over, and then it just wasn't. I mean, so you.
Well, then
Well,
you
what
know,
do they base it on? The
but
guy
nothing
that's
for-
smoking Jim Talk?
Oh no, there was a report that there was optimism, and then somebody was like, you know what? Optimism means
It's
that the
not.
lockout's over. That is something
Yeah,
you would
Nick,
do.
you know what optimism is? Optimism is when two sides sit down and actually negotiate, which is what they're not doing. They are not sitting down. They're not trying to iron out their differences. The owners come up with a proposal. The players reject it. The
Well-
players come up with a proposal. The owners reject
Well,
it.
here's what
That
I
is
heard-
not negotiation.
Here's what I heard the biggest issue is. The Players Association is fighting for minor league players because minor league conditions for players, coaches, and umpires in recent years has been terrible.
Do you know what they're trying to do?
What are they trying?
Right now, they're trying to cut the staffs on minor league teams from 180 people down to 150.
Yeah, and that's
after
account-
they've already contracted and reduced the amount of minor league teams. What they don't want to do is they don't want to pay the minor leaguers. Do you know if you play in the minor leagues that you actually could qualify for food stamps?
Yeah.
That's how little money that
No,
they
they're making 30 to
Really?
70,000 a year. It's not
No, they're not. You need to check your facts. They're not making that kind of money in the minor leagues.
not even that much.
Not even
I
that
don't.
much.
If you qualify for food stamps, you don't.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
check your facts, Nick. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong. But
I
they are not-
play video games. They don't
Profe-
let us sign a player for less than 30,000 in the simulation.
Well,
that's why I assume.
that's a video.
But to
game.
play baseball and make between 30 and 70,000, that's still not a great amount, especially when
That's
you're not
what the
guaranteed
owners want to
contracts
pay
every
the
year.
first year guys that are coming in the first year in the majors. You know.
Well, anyway, a number of problems stem from that, and especially if you're trying to incentivize players to play baseball and get in the draft and have baseball be the favorite preferred sport, you can't cut minor leagues and you can't cut pay.
They
The
are.
only thing that would work there is if you just cut all minor league systems and had draft picks do like what they do in the NFL and just immediately get added to like
Well,
a
see,
50-man roster.
Here's what the thing is: the owners don't want to change the number of years that they have control of players coming out of the minors. They got 6 years.
Well, the idiot
First
for
3
the-
years, first 3 years at the owner's discretion. The second 3 years at arbitration level.
You know what I think?
Okay, well, let me finish. Okay. Now, what the players want is they want the upper-tiered players to get paid more money. They want to raise the luxury tax so that the players that are in the major leagues can get paid more. So to be able to do that, they're going to have to make fewer younger players. The owners would rather pay the younger players less than paying somebody 30. I mean, if you're going to pay somebody $30 million to hit 235, you could pay a young guy $3 million to hit 235. You're getting the same return on your dollar.
Name recognition. That's what I've said for a while. It's all about the name recognition. Why is Bryce Harper different from somebody in the minor leagues? Because he's Bryce Harper, and he allegedly hit a ball over train tracks when he was 19. Anyway,
Which means nothing.
it doesn't mean anything to
How many
us.
championships has he brought them?
Smoking Jim.
Don't
If you
ask
s-
him a baseball
Okay,
question.
well,
Yeah.
I guess I won't then.
We only got a minute to go.
So no, I mean,
It won't work out well.
You can't do what they're doing, and I think we've come to that consensus. You can't invest less money in the minor leagues because
No, you actually should be investing more money in it.
yes,
Well, the Pirates got busted for that, spending too much, and they made the rule that they can't spend over a certain amount.
they spent too much or too.
Yeah, they spent too much years ago, and they're
okay.
limited in the minor leagues. One other point, the owners wanted to go to federal mediation, and
Yeah,
the
that's
players refused it because the owners aren't negotiating in good faith.
And the players just want them to sit down and negotiate. The owners won't do it. They're both at fault. They're both are sitting there pointing a finger at the other one saying it's your fault. And what they should be doing is sitting down across the table from one another saying we're not getting up from here until we bang out an agreement and let's get the game played.
I can tell you my history of negotiating. When the time comes for them to negotiate, they will.
It's already passed.
One thinks they're stronger than the other, and that's the owners, so we got trouble. Thanks for watching. Stay Joey strong.